a city of bold culture and personality like Durban, you need to stand out to be noticed. And Zinhle Ndawonde sure does that. A Springbok rugby player and aviation firefighter at King Shaka International Airport. She is the pride of her family, Inanda community, and of our nation.
Being part of the Springbok women's team is really an honor and a blessing to me. Obviously, growing up, it's something as a young girl that I've wanted to experience. I've always wanted to represent my country. Growing up, firefighting was never a part of my life or something that I wanted to do. And once I experienced pressure, once I got to learn what firefighting is about, that's when I actually developed the love and passion of firefighting. What I love about being a firefighter, I think it's the same thing I love about being a rugby player, is that being a firefighter is not always about you. It's about the person that is in need and the person that you are working with. So when you get rugby and firefighting have the same sentiment because you always have to work together as a team.
In rugby 7s or 15s, Zinhle looks forward to the real tests. In firefighting, she's happy if her skills are never called on.
We are aviation firefighting, so we deal more with aircraft and stuff. But when we go for training, you just a professional firefighting buildings, you get taught everything. So the washroom is the eye of the airports. That's where we receive calls when there's emergency, whether it's medical or there's a crash alarm or we need to respond somewhere. The most important aspect of firefighting is definitely training, it's fitness. So we do a whole lot of training. Nothing much happens every now and then, but we always make sure that we are prepared should anything happen. The moment the bells ring, you get that heartbeat, you know that something is about to happen.
I admire her coming into work every day and always hitting the gym early in the morning. Being a firefighter, everyone thinks you have to be physically fit. Yes, I'll say that counts about 40%, but the job is mental. Because if you run to a scene and you're not mentally prepared, you're lost. You're not going to help yourself, you're not going to help anybody else.
Zinhle is dedicated to whatever she does. First of all, it's the fitness that talks. Because in firefighting, fitness is the most important thing. Zinhle is one of a few women that we've got, but she's one of the pump operators, which there's not plenty in. Mostly are maids.
Zinhle's choice of work reflects the supportive community spirit she grew up around.
We are at our simulation exercise. We usually do this once a month where we train. We are given a scenario of an engine fire. So it's a two-man operation that we're going to be doing now. This is my other partner. We go in twos. So he's going to be running the first hose. I'm going to be running the second hose. Then we head to the simulation airplane.
Aircraft being loaded with up to 200 tons of fuel. This is a job for the bold.
So that's my daily routine at work. Now let's head home to spend time with the family. The most important thing in my life is definitely my family, my mom and my sister, especially my mom, because she has taught me to be the woman that I am today. She's always been the person who brings out that power in me, who brings up that strength, who brings up that boldness in me. One of my biggest dreams was to make sure that I get my mom and my sister a house. So with rugby and the work that I've been doing, I was able enough to actually raise money to actually buy this house for my mom and sister.
Ngize ngimbuze Zinhle awuyeke ingane lento ngoba oqala awutholi lutho ubuye ulimele kufuneka sikuthobe kufanele ngikubandishe lezi ilondo limele kuzona ethi ma ngiyayithanda irugby mangiyeke irugby ngizokwenzani.
The proudest moment of my sister is when she won Sports Personality of the Year during the KZN Sports Awards in 2018.
My proudest moment for Zinhle when she made Springbok and she was a vice captain for 15s aside. And when she went for Olympics, she went for service. And when she scored the try, that made the team win. So I was very proud of her.
Thank you so much, guys, for spending the day with me at work and here at home. I hope you guys got to see what Zinhle Ndawonde gets up to during the day. So I will see you guys on the field, and I hope you guys enjoyed every moment. Bye.
Here's to a fine showing at next year's Women's Rugby World Cup in New Zealand. This is the story of a working mom who studied programming, then decided she might try teaching herself to make chocolates.
Hi there, I'm Stefani and I'm the Executive Chocolatier here at Jack Rabbit Chocolate Studio. Welcome to our lab. We're artisanal chocolatiers, creating chocolate art from high quality ingredients. We try to make unique pieces of art that are edible and beautiful. Everything that we do, from bars to bonbons and our chocolate coated products, is always a new chocolate experience. I love everything about chocolate. I love the way that it smells, the way that it tastes, the way that it makes you feel when you eat it, when you receive it, when you give it as a gift, when you work with it, how it's so technically challenging. It's like a teenager, that it has a mind of its own, and that you think that you know everything about chocolate, but you don't. There's just lots of influences that can change the way that you are going to have to work with the chocolate on that day. If it's too humid, if it's too hot, if it's too cold, if the air is too dry, if you warmed it up too quickly, if you warmed it up too slowly, if you worked with it too slowly. It has so much to give as a compound that I feel like I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly getting challenged. And I love that challenge of working with something that's so dynamic and delicious. And regardless of how beautiful or how ugly it looks, in the end of the day, it's still an incredible product to eat and to enjoy. And I think that's what I really love about chocolate.
When people began to Google Stefani's brand and arrive at her house asking for chocolate, it was time for a shop. Now, in less than 3 years, these handmade masterpieces in their edible paintwork have won gold in Budapest and silver at the International Chocolate Awards in London.
I think in patisserie and chocolate work specifically, it's very easy to try and copy international pastry chefs in their style and their flavors. I think in South Africa, everyone has the idea that using French chocolate or using French ingredients and doing things that French chefs are doing or international chefs are doing is the best thing to do. And I think that in that we lose our identity. And so we try and use some of the South African flavors or South Africanize some of our chocolates so that it is still local, it's still us. We can use imported ingredients and we can use influence from overseas, that we still maintain our South Africanness in that. So we have done some really wonderful chocolate bars using msombo, so that's the African nightshade. We enjoy using rooibos in our chocolate production, and of course we have our milk tart chocolate. So when we are making our bonbons, they are all each hand painted and handmade. Each chocolate has between 4 to 8 different colors on each of them, and each step of the process is done by us here by hand. And each one is like a little blank canvas, and we have the opportunity to hand paint each one, and although they share the same theme, each one is completely unique. So while Lucia's busy applying her first layer of color onto her molds, we're going to do a similar thing into our bonbon molds. So we're going to start with splatting our molds, and this is the first step that we do. A lot of people think that it's actually our last step and that we paint afterwards, but we actually paint first. And so we've got our first layer of color that we're going to be doing. We've got our cocoa butter that's ready to go, and we're just using a paintbrush, and all we're going to be doing is splatting some color into the mold. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to do quite a free, natural swish inside the mold with our color, and we can just turn it around and then we can see the effect so far. So once you've finished painting all of your chocolate molds and you're ready to proceed, the next step is tempering, which is what Christy's starting to do over here. So her temperature of the chocolate that's in the bowl is at T1, which is our highest temperature. So we use this motion where we spread it out onto the table and we bring it back together so that we can cool it rapidly all at the same time, so that we don't have some patches that are over-tempered and some that are under-tempered, because we don't want uneven crystallization of the chocolate.
So chocolate has a lot of ups and downs as well. It's not the perfect thing that everybody just imagines working with chocolate. It is very physical. It is a lot of working, it's a lot of standing, it's a lot of moving around. So it basically is CrossFit in a kitchen.
Just a little sneak peek for a new product that we've got is in partnership with Pavoni Italia as their brand ambassador. They've sent us this adorable little shoe mold, and then what we've done is we've just spiced it up with some Jackrabbit style. Thank you, Insider SA, for spending the day with us. I hope that you indulge in your sweet tooth today.
As bold in spirit as her chocolates are in flavor, Stefani's currently exporting to Japan, and if all goes to plan, they will be listed in Harrods within a year.